1. Your stool is telling you a story, listen to it. Let's be honest, most of us don't like talking about our poop. It feels uncomfortable, embarrassing even. But here's the truth that too many people don't hear until it's too late. Your stool is like your body's health report, issued daily. And when something changes, that report card is trying to get your attention. Colon cancer doesn't usually start with pain. It often starts in silence, deep inside your bowel walls. But as tumors grow, they gradually change the way waste moves through your digestive system. Think about it. The colon is like a smooth tunnel. If a small growth appears, it narrows that tunnel, causing thinner, pencil-like stools. If bleeding happens inside that tunnel, it may turn your stool dark and tarry, or leave red streaks. If the tumor causes irritation, you might experience cramping, bloating, or incomplete emptying. Now imagine Tom, a 64-year-old mechanic. He noticed his stools had gotten slimmer and flatter, and he was going to the bathroom 3 or 4 times a day, sometimes urgently, but passing very little. He figured it was from all the black coffee and fast food. But after a month, his wife urged him to see a doctor. A colonoscopy revealed a stage 2 tumor, caught just in time. The key? He paid attention before symptoms got worse. Dr. Langston says one of the most common things he hears is, "I thought it was just something I ate." But when these changes persist, especially for more than 2 weeks, they're not about what you ate yesterday. They're about what your colon has been trying to manage for weeks or months. And don't fall into the trap of thinking blood in the stool has to look bright red. Internal bleeding, especially in the upper colon, often results in black, sticky, or coffee ground-looking stools, which people may not recognize as bleeding at all. Here's a simple rule. If your stool looks different, smells different, or your bathroom schedule changes significantly and doesn't return to normal, that's your signal. You don't have to panic. You just have to notice and act. Because sometimes the smallest changes in the most overlooked places are the first signs that save your life. 2. You're losing weight without even trying. We often associate weight loss with success. It's what magazines promote, what doctors encourage. You've lost weight? Good for you, we hear. But not all weight loss is good news. In fact, unintentional weight loss, especially after 60, can be one of the earliest red flags for serious internal illness. Here's the rule Dr. Langston teaches his patients. If you lose more than 5 to 10% of your body weight in 6 months without trying, you must talk to your doctor. Because both colon and especially pancreatic cancer interfere with how the body processes food, breaks down nutrients, and stores energy. Let's start with pancreatic cancer. The pancreas plays a central role in digestion. It produces enzymes that break down fat, protein, and carbs. When a tumor blocks this function, the food you eat no longer gets properly digested. What does that mean? You may be eating the same amount but absorbing far less. Nutrients are literally passing through your system unused. Colon cancer causes a different issue. As tumors grow, they may bleed slowly over time, causing chronic blood loss, which drains energy and increases metabolic demand. The body works overtime to repair itself, burning calories just to keep up. Consider Susan, 72. She wasn't dieting. She still enjoyed her morning toast and afternoon tea. But the scale kept dropping. She brushed it off, blaming nerves or a faster metabolism. Her clothes became loose. Her rings started slipping. Only when her daughter insisted did she visit a doctor. Blood tests showed anemia, and a colonoscopy revealed early-stage colon cancer. The weight loss was her body's whisper. And thankfully, she listened. Another patient, Ronald, 69, thought he was lucky. "My belly's going down without me even walking," he joked. But he also had nausea after meals and a constant, dull pain in his back. CT scans showed a tumor on his pancreas. The disease was already progressing, but catching it early may have given him time that others don't get. Here's what to ask yourself. Have you lost more than 10 pounds recently, without eating less or exercising more? Are your clothes fitting looser, even though your habits haven't changed? Do you feel full more quickly or avoid food because it makes you feel sick? These may seem like subtle changes, but they could be your body's cry for help. And remember, real health isn't about losing weight. It's about knowing why you're losing it. If you didn't choose the weight loss, your body did. And it may be asking you to take action. 3. Constant fatigue that feels bone deep. Everyone feels tired sometimes. After a long week, a restless night, an emotional day. But the fatigue we're talking about here isn't that kind of tired. It's not the kind that goes away after a nap or a good night's sleep. This is the bone-deep exhaustion, the kind that lingers no matter how much you rest, the kind that makes folding laundry feel like climbing a mountain, the kind that creeps in silently and stays. Dr. Langston calls it invisible fatigue. You look fine on the outside, but inside your body is running on empty. And here's why. In colon cancer, one of the most common causes of persistent fatigue is chronic internal bleeding. Tiny amounts of blood may be lost through the digestive tract each day, so small that you won't even see it in your stool. But over weeks and months, this leads to iron deficiency anemia, a condition that leaves you drained, foggy, and short of breath. You might start noticing that walking upstairs leaves you winded, that you need an extra coffee to function, that you've stopped doing little things, like gardening or going out, because your body feels too heavy. In pancreatic cancer, the fatigue often stems from nutritional deficiencies. If your pancreas isn't releasing the enzymes needed to break down food, your cells aren't getting the fuel they need. You may be eating, but your body is starving. Consider Eleanor, 71, a retired schoolteacher who used to enjoy morning walks. Then one summer, she found herself falling asleep midday. She couldn't finish her crossword puzzles. She skipped lunch because she was too tired to chew. Her doctor first suggested depression, but blood work told another story: severe anemia. A colonoscopy revealed an early-stage tumor. And here's the danger. Many people dismiss this kind of tiredness as normal aging. But fatigue isn't a normal part of life. It's a sign. And when it's persistent, unexplained, and begins to interfere with daily activities, it demands attention. Ask yourself, are you feeling more tired than usual even after full nights of sleep? Have simple tasks become unusually difficult? Are you sleeping more, but feeling less rested? Don't wait until you're too tired to ask for help. Because fatigue may not just be a sign that you need rest, it may be your body asking for rescue. For a persistent, dull backache in the upper or middle back. Back pain is one of the most common complaints among older adults. After all, we've spent decades lifting children, hauling groceries, sitting at desks, sleeping on the wrong mattress, or simply living life. So when a dull, nagging ache creeps into the upper or middle back, most people blame posture, arthritis, or age. But what if it's more than that? Pancreatic cancer is infamous for staying hidden until it's too late. One of its early, but misunderstood, signals is persistent back pain, especially deep in the mid-upper back, just below the ribs. This pain isn't sharp or sudden. It's not the pulled muscle kind of pain. It's more like a constant pressure or weight sitting behind the stomach area, sometimes wrapping around to the sides or reaching between the shoulder blades. Dr. Langston explains that this pain happens because the pancreas sits deep inside the abdomen, close to the spine and major nerves. As a tumor grows, especially in the tail or body of the pancreas, it can press on the surrounding nerves or organs, causing referred pain in the back. What's tricky is that the pain may get worse when you lie down or after eating, and feel better when you lean forward, a pattern that's often overlooked. Let's look at James, 68, a retired pilot. He began feeling what he called a deep soreness in his back that wouldn't go away. No injuries. No overexertion. He tried stretching, massage, even acupuncture. Nothing worked. Then came fatigue and a drop in appetite. A CT scan revealed a tumor growing silently in his pancreas, already pressing against his spinal nerves. If back pain is your only symptom, it can be easy to ignore. But here's when you shouldn't. The pain is dull, persistent, and not relieved by rest or over-the-counter medications. It lasts for weeks and keeps returning in the same spot. It's not linked to physical activity or injury. It occurs alongside other subtle symptoms, like fatigue, appetite loss, or unexplained weight loss. One of the greatest risks of this symptom is that people wait too long, assuming it's just muscular or part of aging. But your back could be warning you of something far more serious. So if something feels off and it doesn't go away, don't write it off. Get it checked. Your spine may be strong, but sometimes it's your pancreas asking for help from behind the scenes. 5. A sudden loss of appetite or feeling full too quickly. You used to enjoy food. A hearty breakfast, dinner with family, a slice of pie on the weekend. But lately, you find yourself skipping meals. You're not hungry. Or worse, you feel full after just a few bites. Sound familiar? A sudden change in your appetite, or a strange sensation of fullness too early during meals, is one of the most overlooked but powerful warning signs of pancreatic and colon cancer. Let's break it down. The pancreas plays a key role in digestion. It releases enzymes that break down fat and protein so your body can absorb nutrients properly. When cancer affects the pancreas, especially in the head or body, it can block digestive enzyme flow. As a result, food sits longer in the stomach undigested. You may feel bloated, nauseous, or heavy after even small meals. Over time, this leads to a reduced appetite, not because you're not hungry, but because eating becomes uncomfortable. In colon cancer, particularly when tumors form in the left side of the colon, food may move more slowly through the intestines, causing a sense of abdominal fullness, cramping, or even partial obstruction. These physical changes interfere with the normal signals of hunger and satiety. Consider Linda, 65. A retired nurse, she loved cooking. But over a few months, she found herself pushing her plate away after a few bites. She told herself, maybe I'm just eating less as I age. But she also noticed her clothes getting looser and her energy fading. A scan later showed a tumor compressing her pancreas, disrupting her digestion without causing obvious pain. So how do you know if appetite changes are worth worrying about? Ask yourself, has your appetite dropped for no clear reason? Do you feel bloated, full, or slightly nauseous after meals? Are you eating less, but not by choice? These shifts may seem small, but when they persist, they are not normal. Appetite is one of your body's most finely tuned systems. It doesn't just disappear without cause. Dr. Langston reminds us, when food no longer satisfies you, that's your cue. Something's interfering with how your body welcomes nourishment. If your plate is staying full, your gut may be warning you something inside is not right. Is your body whispering before it screams? Imagine this. You wake up one morning feeling a bit off. Not sick, not in pain, just not quite yourself. Maybe you're more tired than usual. Your appetite's not what it was. You've noticed you're going to the bathroom more or less. But life is busy, you're aging, and you chalk it up to just getting older. That's exactly how these deadly cancers slip by. Quiet, subtle, misunderstood. Colon and pancreatic cancers are often called silent killers, not because they give no signs at all, but because their early signs are so easy to dismiss. They mimic aging. They mimic stress. They mimic normalcy. And that's what makes them so dangerous. Dr. Langston, now 85, says the most heartbreaking cases he's seen weren't the fast-growing tumors. It was the ones where patients had been feeling not quite right for months, even years, but never spoke up, never pushed for tests, never listened to their bodies when the whispers started. He once treated a 62-year-old woman named Karen. She had lost weight, blamed menopause. She felt exhausted, blamed caregiving for her husband. She had lower back pain, blamed lifting groceries. By the time she came in, her pancreatic tumor had already spread. She'd ignored the whispers until her body finally screamed. It doesn't have to be that way. What most people don't realize is this. The human body is constantly communicating. It sends signals, adjusts, compensates. It fights for balance. And when something goes wrong, really wrong, it tries to tell you. Not in shouts. Not at first. But in gentle nudges. We've just been conditioned to ignore those nudges. Especially those over 50. You're used to powering through discomfort. You've survived hardships. A little fatigue? A skipped meal? Some bloating? It's fine, you say. But it may not be. What if that was your body pleading, please notice me? What if those whispers were your only chance to stop something far more serious? This video exists for that reason, to help you tune in before it's too late. Because if we learn to recognize the whispers, we may never have to hear the scream. Your body doesn't lie, but you have to listen. At this point you might be thinking, but I'm just tired. But I've always had some digestive trouble. But I'm in my 60s, these things happen, right? Here's what Dr. Langston, at 85 years old and having seen thousands of patients, wants you to understand clearly. Your body has never lied to you. It speaks every single day, through your energy, your appetite, your bathroom habits, your sleep, your pain, your mood. But over the years, many of us have learned to ignore it. We brush off discomfort. We downplay pain. We minimize change. Especially as we get older, it's easy to blame everything on just aging. But that's where the danger lies. The signs of colon and pancreatic cancer aren't always dramatic. They don't come roaring in like a heart attack. They whisper. A little weight loss. A little fatigue. A strange new bloating. By the time those whispers become screams, pain, jaundice, severe bleeding, it's often too late. And that's the tragedy. Because if caught early, colon cancer is one of the most treatable cancers. Pancreatic cancer, too, is survivable if diagnosed before it spreads. But that window of time is small. And that's why listening early makes all the difference. So here's the reflection. Have you felt something that didn't feel right? Something that lasted weeks, not days? Have you told yourself, it's nothing, because you didn't want to be a burden? Or feared the test? Or didn't want bad news? You're not alone. But silence doesn't protect you, awareness does. No matter your age, you are worth listening to. And your body is worth trusting. So today, take a moment. Reconnect. Reflect. And if anything we've talked about in this video sounds familiar, don't wait. Don't guess. Don't push it aside. Talk to your doctor. Ask the question. Because early action isn't just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years. If this message resonated with you, please leave a comment, share your story, or simply let us know how you're doing. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video with someone you love, because knowledge saves lives.